Hello, everyone. Gilbert here. Welcome to Red Dragon Model Works. Now, I know we have the Way of the Dragon, where the boys and I we come on and we do these figurines or the busts like this live, stuff like this here. And we're going to be finishing her up. We'll start this Saturday to work on her wolf pelt and stuff. But what I want to do today is, you saw in the beginning of here, I'm doing a couple of pieces by Ritual Castings. I just finished one that was called The Ritual. I'll show that when I'm done with this one. And I'm doing this one here, which is called Katsuni. It's a Japanese samurai woman, and she's holding where is it at? She's holding a katana, and she's sharpening a katana. So I know that there are some people that have purchased this that wanted to see or follow along with me to see how I do the skin tones. What's up, Josh? There's Josh. Jeff, how you doing, buddy? Josh, Jeff, what's going on? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down my basic skin tone. Right now, what you see, I know it's hard to see right now because of the way the light's hitting it, but she's primed in black SEM primer. That's a high build automotive primer. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to start laying down my foundational tone. My foundational tone is always, I could use some green, terracotta, light flesh. For this, I'm going to take, hey, Dominic, how you doing? I'm going to take some Stynylrez light flesh and a little Stynylrez terracotta. So what I'm going to do is, and that's going to be my foundation. That's not going to be my skin tone. This will be my skin tone, either a pale pink with a little bit of olive flesh with a little bit of pale pink in her. I want her paler than I normally do other ones. I might just go with an olive flesh and then from there, work in some pinks. But we'll see. We'll see. So first, I'm going to take my my Stynylrez, and I'm going to lay some down. I don't need a lot. Take my terracotta and just put a drop or two drops. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to mix it up. I don't want it. I want it almost like a pinkish color, but not a red. You see the color I'm getting? So that's. Now, if you ask me how many drops, you saw what I did. I don't know. There's got to be about, I just squirted it in there, guys. I don't know. You can go with 5 drops to 1. 5 drops to 1. So you can go with that. I'm going to also use my Badger Patriot 105. So I'm going to put this in here. Make sure I got a nice steady stream coming out. Let me move that off to the side. See, I got a little splatter here from when I was mixing it, but that's all right. All that's going to be covered up. So I'm going to come in, starting from the top, and work my way down. See that? The way she is, she's looking, I'll show you in a minute. She's looking down. So I don't want, I got to raise this pressure up a little bit. So I'm going to come in and just lightly start to get my base down. I'm getting a lot of spitting out of my airbrush right now. I don't know why. So now I'll show you a little trick. I got them all in front of me somewhere. Take a toothpick, like right here, and I'm gonna remove that just like so. come back. And just very gently lay that down. I'm not worried about overspray at the moment. And then right down the center. Just like that. And there's two heads here. So we lay this down. Make sure I get the back of her neck there. Her ear. There's the face. Come back over here, right where I scratched it a little bit. Touch that up. Make sure I get that ear real good. Underneath, and then right down the center of her face. I think I'm going to drop a little, that's isopropyl. I'm going to drop a little thinner in this. Where's my thinner bottle at? Right here. I'm going to put a little thinner in this. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. About 6 squirts of thinner. Get my mixing brush. I'll mix that in real good. Let me set this off to the side. I want to use the rest of this, so I don't want it to go to waste. I don't have the Facebook open, so somebody asked me a question on Facebook and I can't tell who it is. Is if this is an Iwata? No, it's not an Iwata. It is a Badger Patriot 105. I have Iwatas, but no, this is not an Iwata. Okay, I got her hands here. Hey, Mike. And I'm going to go ahead and lay a base down for the hands. Again, this is just a base, so I'm not really particularly worried about trying to saturate the color down because there'll be other colors laid on top of this. I want to make sure I got good coverage, but I want to leave some of those shadows. So there's the one hand. Let me get a better lighting over here. You see I got on my hand here. I'm not worried about that because I'm going to end up painting that black again. So right at this moment, I'm not concerned about overspray. That'll come later. Right now, I'm just trying to lay down a base. For the skin tone. Okay, there's the hands. Now we got here. You have, make sure there's no dust on that. Again, I'm not really, you know what, let me get this glove off. I don't like working with gloves. They bother me. You got the top part of her chest and her back. And then here you have the legs on the inner part and here. Now she's got stockings on. So I'm going to paint all of this because I'll go over those stockings. So let's do that now. So we'll get that basic color down. Man, I got this thing set up at 30 PSI and she's spitting, so That's telling me that this spinal res is cold. So I got to be real careful how I lay it down. I didn't warm it up, guys, so. So there's the one leg. I'll come over and just lay down a little bit of misting. Yeah, she's fish-eyeing. Something's not right here. Something's not right here. So what I'm doing, I'm just laying down a base. I'll come back to this in a minute. Let me hit this with a blow dryer. And then I'll go ahead and blend, make sure that I blend that all in. Yeah, she's got stockings on, so I'm going to end up smoking those later. What I'm trying to do is make sure that where she doesn't have the stockings, that base tone is laid down, just like that. I'm not too concerned about the bottom because she's going to be glued like this, but I do want to put a little bit there, so because you are going to be able to see between those. So there's that leg. Let me hit that with a blow dryer before I set it down. Okay, I need to mix up just a little bit more because I'm almost out. So again, just see when I pop that top on there, it squirted a little bit over that. And I'll take 1, 2. Do I always use black primer? Not all the time, Dominic. Not all the time. You know what? It always happens, you know. Sorry about that. Every time I start something, my family wants to call me. So let me mix that up. Clean that off. Add that in here. Do a little back flush to make sure all the rest of it is. All right, now let's go to the upper torso. I'm getting some really nasty spitting, and that's unusual. I'm at 30 psi, so I want to tell you guys, look, just because we all go through this, so nobody's infallible. There you go. Clean the tip off, and that'll help. I'll go ahead in here. Yeah. Let me shut this off for a second. I don't know why Could be that I've had that bottle for a long time. Could be that time to get a new bottle of Steiner Res or strain it. All right, I gotta see something. Hold on, make sure there's no water in here. Okay, there we go. Much better. I bumped up the PSI a little bit more. Now see, I laid it down on here. See what happens? So you got to be careful. So I'll take a little cleaner and just wipe it a little bit. You're not going to see that once I paint it, but I just wanted to get whatever's on there off. That little spot right there did that. So. But even those little boo-boos like you just saw me do, you can fix them, just like I just did there. Yeah, this thing is... It's a clean airbrush, so it can't be the airbrush. But we got a lot of rain, so it could be the humidity in here. I just want to make sure. That everything I've done doesn't come back to bite me later. So there's the basic right there. Now I got to be real careful. Now I'm going to sit her down here for right now while I clear out that airbrush. And get any. I'm just touching up some spots on her face here. You see? I don't think I'm going to use this head, but I'm going to paint it just in case. All right, so there's the... Yeah, Brian, I normally heat it up first. I didn't do it. Normally I have a little... the girls got it upstairs. They use it to soak their damn nails off. They always come down there and take my shit. But I have a little coffee cup warmer and a Pyrex jar. And I'll put some hot water in there. Not boiling hot, but hot. And I'll sit my Steiner Res in there. I'm shooting it cold right now because I had the heater off down here. So give me a second. Let me flush this airbrush out. Because if anybody's ever used Steiner Res, that's not some stuff you want to let sit in the airbrush too long. So I'm just doing a quick rinse out. And I'll blow it all through. Now Saturday, I'll probably end up going to Adepticon. And I'll probably get some. I've had that bottle of Light Flesh for many, many years. it's probably at the point now where I'm almost finished with it anyway. So it's probably to the point now where I gotta dump it and get a new bottle. That's one of the first bottles he made. So I've had that 6 years. This bottle right here. So still good. It's just it's cold. I could feel it. I could feel it in my hand. It's cold. So when you're shooting paint, you know, you got to remember the air stream is cold, and then if that's cold, you're going to have problems. So that's the problem you just saw me have. All right. So let's clear this out. Make sure. Yeah, see, it's shooting like nothing now, you know. I'm at 35, Brian. It's not that weird. Um, I normally shoot Stynylrez res at 30. So that's my normal Stynylrez res. And that's what is recommended to shoot it to this needle. So it's not that weird. I just bumped it up another 5. That was all. I'm at 30 and I went up to 35. It's been raining. It's cold. I had the heater off down here. So it was kind of cold in here. So all my paint is cold right now. No, it's got nothing to do with deep cleaning, Brian. It's got everything to do with the Stynylrez res being cold. Like where I keep this, the room I keep this in is cold. Usually what I'll do is I'll bring it out and I'll warm it up or have the heater down here. But I had the heater off because it got warm here yesterday. And then I forgot to turn it back on before I went upstairs yesterday. So it got cold in here. So the paint will react to that cold. All right. Yeah, but you got to remember where you're at, Brian. You're in Florida. I'm in Illinois. Different temperatures, brother. Different atmospheres. So what works for you doesn't work for, say, somebody in Canada or somebody in, I don't know, Ohio. You're in a warm, dry climate for the most part. I'm in it right now. We have had nothing but cold, damp weather here. All right. Now I'm going to mix up. Usually I would prime this, but I'm not going to. So I'm going to lay down some pale. I'm going to do that in here. In one of these. I'm going to lay down some Pro Acryl pale pink. But I'm going to lay this down first. This is olive flesh. And I'm only going to put a drop of this in there just to tint it up a little bit. I don't want it too olivey color. I want a little rosiness to that color. So there's that. See? Again, I don't know. I just squirted it in there, but because I make a lot of it, so I go through a lot of paint. So I'm going to put 1 drop, maybe 2, and then I'll work from there. So now I'm going to mix it. Put some thinner in there. It's still a little bit too olivey for me. Yeah, there's still too little bit. See that? There's the color. Still too olivey for me. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 5 drops of that in there. Yeah, I can see it now. Now it gives me that little. Again, I want her to be as pale as I can get her without it being her looking like a ghost. That'll work. I can add a tint to that. Is that thin enough? No, that's still too thick. 1, 2. This is Vallejo thinner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 drops in there. And then Flow Aid. There's 1 drop, 2 drops. That's it. Anything more than that would be a pain in the ass to dry. So yeah, see now it's nice and thin. I like to paint with the ink almost to an ink consistency. Some people like it thicker. Some people like it thinner. I like it thin. All right. So now, Sotar. Pull that. I'm pulling this back because I had it all the way up. All right. So I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to drop a little water in here because I want to get my stream going. All right. I'm going to drop the pressure. We're going to go to about 20. So now I'm at about 20 PSI. Add a little bit in there, not a lot. Grab one of the head. I got to be careful because there's these things on the end of it. Coming from the top down. Very gently. I come in there in that cheek. And the other cheek. I'm trying to be real careful not to pull back on the trigger too hard. And get right in the center there, and I'm going to lighten that up a little bit because that's where the focus is, right down the center of her face. And there's that. And as my brother there says, just paint it, man. Hey, Jerry. So again, we'll come in from the top. I'm coming down. Come over here by her jawline. Just dust that a little bit. Right. Whoop, got a little spittle there. Gotta get the ear. The neck. Down here. I'm not getting, you notice I'm not touching underneath. Just a little light dusting underneath her neck. These things are a godsend. You can get them on Amazon. Just lighten that up there. Lighten up that earlobe. And that's it. There's her face. Again, this is just the basics because I'm going to go in with it with oils or pan pastels and all that stuff. But this is the basic skin tone. Get right by her breast here, up here, on her shoulder, across. I'll come over here, down her arm, across. There it is. Shoulder. I'll lighten that up on that side. I'll move her around. And now I'm going to come around her back. There's some nice detail there, and I don't want to lose that, so I want to be very careful where I lay those shadows down, or the highlights rather. Across the shoulder again, down the arm. I'm not pulling back on the airbrush. Very gently touching it. There's the skin tone. I'll show you pictures on Facebook because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 lights beaten down on this. So you're not really getting the depth of it. I'm going to get her knuckles here. The top of her hand. Her fingers. The palm of her hand. The inner hand underneath. Gotta be careful because that sword is very, see that? That sword is very, very fragile. That'll be later, bro. That'll be at a later one when I do the eyes. Actually, it might be today because I got the basic down. The rest of it is all just coloring her in. So there's her hand. Now we'll get up underneath here. Make sure that I got the stream going. I'll come in. Start laying that down. Again, like I said, I'm not worried about overspray at the moment. I can deal with that later. You notice I go heavier on the high spots and then lighter on the rest of it. Because those are stockings. And I want those stockings. That high spot will tell me where when I go lay the smoke down, and I smoke those stockings, it'll give me the nice highlight I'm looking for. Jesus Christ, I can't come to the phone right now, woman. Sorry. It's my sister. All right. So there is her basic tone. So I'm not going to pull the one with the thing out. So her head will go here, like so. That's her basic skin tone. I'll end up shooting this with a matte coat. And then what I'll do is I've got 1 or 2 ways I can do this. I could either use the pan pastels, which I will incorporate because I like the magentas and stuff in there. But I'm going to go in with a yellow. We'll get the yellow down. So let's get that ready. Let's see. I'm going to use whatever I got left of this. I got some yellow glaze here. Lamenter's yellow. They don't make this anymore. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add water to this. There's very little left in there anyway. Shake that up real good. I'll get a brush here. Where's my good brush? I moved my brushes. Sorry, let me get a brush. I need to get a brush. I got 2 brushes here that I'm going to use. They're both filberts. So I'm just going to dip it in there because it's all watered down anyway. I'll take most of it off. And then I'm going to lay it in just like that. So what that's doing is it's tinting. There's not a lot. You see how I took some of it off. There's not a lot on here. There's a lot of details on this. You guys can get this at ny3dcreations.com. He's got it on his page. So we put the yellow down. Then I take another brush. And I'm going to remove most of it with that brush. And I'm going to leave just that little yellow tint there. Just like that. Move over to the other head. Same thing. You notice I'm taking most of it off the brush. And then I come in. There's different ways to do it. Jerry's got his way. On a bigger kit, you want to get all the splotching and stuff. On this one, it's too small. I'm not really concerned about all that right now. All I want to do is I want to tint that base for the next color that's going to go over this. So I'll zoom in a little bit and I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. So we do this. You notice I'm not being too heavy with that yellow. If you get too heavy with the yellow, I once told Josh this, she'll end up looking jaundiced. So you want to be real conservative on how you lay this down. Because that's a bigger area. I'm going to use a sponge. And I'm just going to dab. Now takes that off. Now let me get down here by her legs. I'm not concerned about the stockings because that, like I said, that's going to be covered in. So, but I am concerned about in here. So let's get that yellow in there. Take my other brush, move it around. Get her feet. Again, you're never going to see that because that's going to get glued down, but I still do it. Take my sponge and just go in there and make sure that most of it is off. Okay, that's done with the yellow. That's it. That's all you needed. Nothing else. Clean the brush off. I'll wash these in a minute. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot her hands. Her hands. Got to make sure we get her hands. So we'll take some here. Dip that brush in there. Take most of it off. Get her hands. All you're doing with this yellow, very, very light. You notice it's very light. All you're doing is you're tinting the underlying tone to give it depth. Now, some people, Jerry included, he's there, he'll tell you, he'll go over this with a sepia or a darker color. I'm not going to do that. That's where my airbrush will come in a little later on for my shadows and my inks and my oils. That'll come in later. So I want to show you where we're at now. So let me get down a little closer so you can see. Let me see if I shut this one off. No, that's too dark. How about if I shut this one off? No. So you see how that that yellow has tinted that. So what I will do is I'm going to let this dry. And then I'm going to go back in and I'll do it live. So she's going to be put off to the side. Once this is dry, I'm going to hit it with a matte medium. Or I'm sorry, a matte coat. And then I'll start doing all the detail work. Like in here with the magenta, the purples, the face in there, you get some magenta. Right in here, the hair is going to be black, so the eyebrows, all that stuff. You know, the cheekbones, all up in here. I don't want her overly made up. I don't want a lot of makeup on her. I want her to look as natural as possible. But she needs once this is done, she needs a light red. You know what? Here, let's do that now. That way you guys can see me doing it. Because I get into my routines, guys, and I'll forget. So give me a second. Let me walk over and, matter of fact, let me go get it. I'll do it here. I normally don't spray this shit in front of here, but I'll do it. I tell people all the time, you know, they ask what we use. And this is what I use right here. A UV matte clear. So let me get a little stick here. I'll get her in there. Get another one right in here. Turn her upside down. And then where's the one for her head? I want to protect this because right now, here's the problem, and it happens to me a lot. If I don't protect this and I start moving it around, what I end up doing is I'll end up scratching that paint. So I want to protect what I've got now. So I'm going to hit this with a matte coat. That's done. I'll hit it with a blow dryer. So I got that part done, the bottom part. Let's get the upper body here. You don't need a lot, just a little bit. That. Let's get that in there. We'll sit that right there. Let me get her little paws here. I'm trying to be careful not to spray too much of it. There's that. We'll get her. Get one face. And then let's get the last one. All right. Let me close this up. And we're going to be done for today. She's going to be put off to the side. Everything else I'll do, and I'll show you guys. Probably do it Tuesday. I've got things. Adepticon is this week, and I have to go see my sister on Friday, so I might not be able to do a hangout. See, now, this is why I didn't want to do this. I'm going to end up cutting these off because they keep breaking on me, so I'm going to cut it off on both ends. So she's not going to have those little danglies. This one broke off on me twice, and this one broke off on me once. So they're very fragile, and the minute you start handling it, I keep bumping it. So I'll end up cutting that out, and I'll drill, and then paint it. But yeah, I'm not gonna have those little things hanging down on there. So, all right, let me get this on here. So, like I said, I don't know which one. I'm leaning towards the one here, but there it is. That is your basic skin tone. Now, everything else is going to go on top of this. The magentas, the pinks, the reds, the purples, a little bit of blue, maybe some Payne's gray. But everything, and then the stockings, of course. That's not going to stay that color. I'll end up masking all this off, and when I shoot that, I'll shoot that with some Tamiya smoke, the smoke those stockings so it looks like stockings. This will be white, either white or black. This is going to be a very dark red. This will be an ivory color. And if I stick with this headdress, that'll be red. So the same color as the sash. So there she is right now. For those of you that have it and you want to follow along, that's what you do. That's what I do. You can use a light, here, I'll show you. You take, like with this, let me clean this airbrush. See, this stuff is already gunking up in my airbrush. Yeah. Let me clean off this airbrush and I'll show you. You can take like a little red wash. Yeah. There, come on. Give me a second, guys. I got some caca in my airbrush. It don't want to come out. I'll get it out. There it goes. Jesus juice to the rescue. Doing a little backwash. Dump it. Let me put a little bit more of that juice in there. My brush. Yeah, it's very, very humid in here right now. I didn't turn my dehumidifier on, so this is the time of year I usually have it. I start working my dehumidifier down here, keep the moisture out of the air. But I thought it was dry enough. It felt dry enough. So give me a second. I'll do a deep clean on this in a minute. But I want to show you now that I've got that color down. What I'll do is, let me put a little bit of this in here, let it sit for a second. I'll let that sit a little bit right there, and I'll clean that in a minute. What I'm going to do is this pale pink is what I'm going to use again. I'm not going to go any darker than pale pink, which is this right here. Once I start, I got to go in, and then I got to lay down all the little shadows and stuff like in here, down here, because she's looking down, so there's shadows. I don't know if you can see that. Like here, let me get this. You see how she's looking down? So there's a shadow right in here. There's one here and across there and across here. So I need to sit down, aim a light at it, and get a good idea of where my shadows are going to go. Because then I'll come in and I'll start right in here with the pastels. I'll start working all those shadows in. or I'll use oils. I probably use oils on this. Come in with the oils and just start working them in here, between her breasts, down in here. But I don't know. I haven't made up my mind if I'm going to use the pan pastels. I mean, I use them both. What I did with Lagatha here, this is both pan pastels and oils. Both, that's oil and pan pastels. So right now she's got that oriental skin tone I'm looking for, but she needs a little bit more variation to it. So that's where the pastels and the oils will come in. They start giving me this, they'll sit like, this goes like right in there, and this one will go here. So, and then what that does is it'll start reddening. I'll start adding, all the blood that'll come up, that your skin has. I'll start adding all that in here. And I'll probably do it, like I said, with the pan pastels. I think that'll work. But for right now, we're going to leave her at that. So Mike Samowski, I know you have this. Save this video. You know how to look for it on my live. I'll probably come back on Tuesday night, and we'll start working on her again. We'll do the pan pastels, and then the other color on top of her, to start lightening her up, and then probably some oils on top of that. Not a lot, just very little. So I wanted to show this to you guys. Those of you that bought it, that wanted to see how this is going to be painted. So we got her started. I'll take a picture of it. I'll post it on the Styrene Syndicate for all you guys that are following. I want to thank you all for watching. If this has been of any use to you, let me go back over here. There's my PayPal. Buy me a coffee. I'll also leave the link. Let me get the link for you guys. I know everybody's running for the door now. Like, oh no. Let me get this for you. If this is of any use to you guys, if it helps you guys out in any way, please consider buying me a coffee. It helps me to pay for the stream. So this is Gilbert saying, have a great week, guys. Be good to each other, rest of the week. Leave the drama to the queens. And as Jerry Frayed over at Just Painted says, hey, just paint it. We'll see you guys this weekend. Peace.